Hey, I'm Dr. Patty Barch, founder of Naturally Unbridled Wellness in Onalaska, Wisconsin. This is a follow-up video to the Pandora's Box video that I put out yesterday. I went through all of my credentials in that video, so I'm not going to go through them all again. Suffice it to say, I'm credentialed enough to have this conversation. If you'd like to see that video or any of my other videos, you can go to youtube.com/naturallyunbridled. So this morning, I had this epiphany as really a follow-up of the thought process that I shared with you yesterday in my Pandora's Box video. So I'm just going to recap the things that we know, and then we'll talk about my next thought. Okay, so the things that we know is in the syringe, there's a recipe for a protein, the SPIKE protein. And so when the contents of the syringe goes into the body, the recipe goes into the cells, and the cells go into protein production. So the cells just start making that protein, and they're like putting it out. And then you get massive amounts of that protein in the body. And that protein is highly inflammatory and antigenic. When the body sees that protein, it goes into red alert mode and starts to fight it off, and it creates antibodies against that protein. So what we know is within the syringe is just the recipe for the protein, but the protein that the body is making isn't exactly the same as the protein that exists on the real bug, right? It's a recipe. Plus, your body actually might make a different version because everybody's body has unique capabilities. So anyway, you're probably not making the exact version that is on the outside of the bug. Okay, so that's one piece that we know. Another piece that we know is about the testing. So when they do the testing in the nose or looking for antibodies in the blood, they are actually looking for the SPIKE protein genetic sequence from what they take in the nose and antibodies against that genetic sequence when they take blood. So putting all the pieces together this morning, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. So here you have 200 million Americans and countless people all over the world churning out massive amounts of this protein that is being excreted by the body. It doesn't stay in your body forever, right? It has to find its way out. Breath, blood, sweat, semen, feces, urine, you name it, your body's finding a way to get it out. So then that protein is ubiquitous in society, and we're all being exposed to that highly inflammatory and antigenic protein. So my thought was, okay, so they're testing for this protein that is being massively produced all over the planet. So the magic of this moment was, so here they're saying that there's all these variants that are highly contagious going around, when in fact, it's possible that all they're finding are the proteins not attached to an entire bug that all of these people are manufacturing, some of which are very similar. So you think like, okay, they're talking about this like hugely contagious variant, when in fact, it could just be that you have so many people churning out that specific protein that's atypical from the original bug that, I hope this is making sense to you, that people are testing positive for really just the coat, right? For the shell that doesn't contain the whole bug, but we're all just like breathing in tons of this protein and it's in our nose. And so they're testing, they're like, oh, you're positive. And do you feel kind of crappy? Yeah, because you just breathed in tons of an inflammatory molecule that your body is mounting an immune response. So whether or not you saw a syringe, you're having an immune response to this protein. So when you hear that they're finding all these variants, the question needs to be, are you finding an entire bug that has a different genetic code on its outside shell? Or are you just finding the shell? Because everybody's making the shell right now. So hopefully that makes sense. It's like totally makes sense in my head, but hopefully it makes sense to you. If that's not clear, if you guys didn't follow that, please comment and I will try to make a video that makes more sense. I got so jazzed up about this morning that I like booked it to the office so I could get this video made and get it out there, because I was literally like when I started thinking about the fact that people are probably being considered tested positive for what we'll call exogenous proteins versus having an actual infection. Peace out, peeps. Be well, be healthy.